Everybody, welcome back. Lab at Drew's house, another edition. This is our first show of a new year. How about that? We made it to another year, 2023. And hope the holidays have been good to everybody and all that. You're probably wondering where I am, actually. I'm not in some underground bunker. I am in my basement. So we're doing the first show of the year here from the Zoom, Christmas and all that stuff. And everybody went away and all that stuff. So I'd been doing the last couple shows from Zoom, and I usually do them from my kitchen, and I'm getting some work done on my bathroom. So there's a guy banging away like crazy up there. And so here we go, a little peace and quiet. And I bring in one of my favorite friends of the show, Kyle Hodsdon, the athletic director over at Newburyport. How are you, Kyle?
Hey, I'm doing great, Drew. Thanks for having me on again, and look forward to talking about our upcoming year.
Absolutely. Holidays treat you okay, first of all? Family good?
Everything's great so far. Yeah, we survived the holidays, and now looking forward to getting going here.
Awesome. So last time we talked, I remember we had you on the studio in Newburyport, and you had told me, I knew something was coming about a very big honor. I know we're going to look forward, but let's look back a little bit, because I knew you were going to get a very big honor your whole program. And you couldn't really talk about it yet, but tell everybody the big honor that came Newburyport's way.
Sure. For the second year in a row, out of the 50-year history of the Boston Globe Dalton Award, Newburyport had achieved the highest winning percentage and was named the most successful athletic program in Division III in the state of Massachusetts. So we hadn't won it ever, and the last 2 years we have. So it's a pretty nice award, considering all the great schools in our division, but it also shows balance and consistency within our sports program. We have some traditional teams that, do well annually, but especially last year, and even this past fall, it's right across the board. It's been consistent, and our teams have not only performed well in the Cape Ann League, but we have been very competitive regionally and at the state level. So it says something about our coaches and our athletes and our athletic trainer and the whole athletic department.
I know. And since the last time we talked, you guys brought some hardware home too. It was a very successful fall season. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really it was an unbelievable fall season. We hosted, I think, 9 playoff games. And we were highly ranked, and we advanced. 3 teams advanced to the Final Four. That's equivalent to winning, in the old system, 3 North championships. And I have some hardware behind me, because we're in the process of creating a new trophy case, which is a good problem to have, and there's just no room right now. So yeah, and of course we could talk about boys soccer probably all day long. What a phenomenal year they had, a historic year. They didn't lose a game. They didn't tie a game. And that's out of 23 contests. That's remarkable. And they only gave up 4 goals in the regular season. And they had a tough road. They finished as the number 9 seed, which is kind of odd considering they were 18-0 in the regular season.
Yeah.
They were able to host 1 playoff game. That's it. And then they were on the road for the other 4. So they were tested, and they earned everything they got. And Coach John Blue did a fantastic job building to get to this point. But then this year, watching them play, just the appreciation that I had, or spectators had, for how hard they worked and how they played the game. They played the game the right way. And it was really fun and easy to root for them because they did it the right way. And a great group, top to bottom there.
Yeah, they were good enough to come on our show before they won, before the tournament. Actually, I think it was before their state tournament run even really began. And they knew they were good. It's always nice when you see some kids, though, who they know they're good, but they're pretty modest about it. And they really were. They were just very down to earth. And you guys tend to send me. I think you send me the best of your bunch. I've never had a problem with any of the Newburyport kids. They're always the very sweet and soft-spoken, and modest was a good word in this case. They were a great group.
Yeah, well, I mean, we just send you what we have, and it just happens. Our kids are like that. I mean, we're consistent. We have great leaders here, and mature kids, and they get it, and they realize that the team is bigger than them, and the success is only going to be because of the group and not the individuals. And, and the boys soccer team, they expected to win games. And even though the other team, we beat 2 undefeated teams along the way in the playoffs, which is remarkable. But even in those games, I think the confidence that our kids had, like, we're the better team, we're going to win this game. It may have come down to the last few minutes, and they may have been 1-0 or 2-1 games, but that's the sport of soccer, and the better team hopefully comes out on top. And we did, and our kids, they dominated, even at in the state tournament for most of the games. So it was a really historic year for them.
No doubt. All right, very cool. Well, we've moved into the winter season, of course, and so that thing is off and running. And it is kind of so much of the season is even done right before Christmas comes and before the break. And I remember coaches used to tell us, really, like, be ready, because, like, if you get too far back in standings, by the time the Christmas break hits and all that, sometimes you can't dig out of these holes come after the new year. So I always remember that from coaches back in winter sports. But this is really the heart of the winter season now as you go into January and all that. Let's talk a little bit about the state of your programs. How are the teams doing at Newburyport right now?
Sure. Well, we're anticipating a strong winter season. We're basically a third of the way over. The first month of the season is over, even though most of it was practices. And now it's 2 to 3 games a week. And it's easy to get up or down really quickly. Right around January 16th is the midpoint when we're on finals break. And middle to end of February, the whole thing is over, and then the postseason starts. So we've got a lot ahead of us still, a lot of countable games, and with the new state standing system and the power rankings, all of our teams have scheduled difficult non-league teams, non-league games, and our boys hockey traditionally does that anyway, challenge and most challenging schedule that they can find. But our girls basketball program has done the same, and boys basketball is playing the best of the best, up divisions as high as you can, playing the best in the state. So that's says something about our programs, the respect that we have, because it takes 2 to schedule a game. We might want to play somebody, but they have to agree to want to play us also. And because we've had success, people know that our teams are going to be worth points in the power ranking system. And if people haven't seen us play yet, boys or girls, basketball or hockey, our kids play hard, and we're very competitive. We play the games to win, obviously, but it's a good show out there, and the kids work hard, and the coaches have been working hard. So we think this winter is going to be some sort of continuation from the fall on some level for some of our programs.
All right, very cool. I know one of those winter things actually kind of caught me off guard. I did not know it was coming. I know you did, at least at one point, but we had, of course, a friend of the show for many years was Dave Clay. You had to replace a longtime basketball coach, which is never an easy thing on an athletic director when you have a successful coach, a successful program. I know that's hard. Walk me through that process a little bit, because that's a unique one.
Yeah, Coach Clay, he's a Clipper. He played here, lives here, teaches here, coached here. He had a great opportunity, a very unique opportunity that he couldn't pass up, and he's earned that right to go over there and take on that task over there at St. John's Prep. So for us, we've got to look out for us now. Sure, he did a tremendous job with us here, and won 4 Cape Ann League championships in a row, and really took us to the next level, both within the Cape Ann League and throughout the state, and brought respect to us. And he's a big reason why we're able to schedule these games versus the Merrimack Valley Conference, participating in a very elite tournament over Christmas break, and playing Lowell in a regular season countable game. And so anyway, so he's over there with his challenges, and we've got our challenges here. And, we're thankful for all that he did for us. But he's moved on and we've moved on. And then that's just the way high school sports are. And we're very fortunate to have an experienced, successful head coach who joined our staff 2 years ago, who was interested in applying for the position. And after going through the interview process, he was our top choice, and Mark Elmendorf, and he's a fantastic, like a little bit old school coach, brings back some of the, the importance of some of the smaller things that the game has changed over the years, and he's combining that. So it's a nice mix. And I actually coach against Mark when we were both young coaches, just starting out many, many years ago in New Hampshire. And then we lost contact for many years, and he moved to Newburyport and reached out and said, if Coach Clay has any use for an assistant coach, I'd love to help out. And, those two connected, and they were a great duo, great for each other. And the program, we're just picking up where we left off. And I say this to a lot of coaches, but I said it to Dave Clay, that the success of a program really can be measured after a coach leaves also. So it's not, if you're only good when the coach is there, you're building a strong team. If you're good when the coach leaves, that coach has done his job and he's built a strong program. And that's what we have right now, down to the younger levels.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, that's good. That's a good way of thinking about it. And I know Dave had great words for you when he left. He said you were just great through the whole process. I wonder, what is that, not necessarily that case, but what is that like on an athletic director when those moves have to be made? I mean, you're probably at the point where nothing surprises you these days. I think you have to be ready for anything. That's kind of part of the job description. But what is that process like? I mean, do you just go reset, take some time to think? What do you do next?
Yeah, well, timing is always important, and Dave was involved late, in the process. And so usually something like this happens in the spring. So you have time. But so we didn't really have time. But like I said, we were fortunate to have Mark interested and wanting to go through the interview process. So it's hard to lose a member of your family, your athletic family, people who know the ins and outs of how we do things and who offer a lot to us. So anytime you have to replace somebody, it can be exhausting or grueling trying to find the right person, and a lot goes into it. But we want to make sure we have the right person too, because in my role, there's lots of important things. Ultimately, it's having a good experience for our student athletes. Now, what creates that are many things too. One of them is the coach. Hiring a coach is one of the most important responsibilities that I have, because there's so much trickle down to that student athlete. So we take hiring people very seriously. And I will say at Newburyport, because I'm old enough now and I've been enough places where I've seen and have had to hire coaches. We're very fortunate here. We have people who live in this community, who want to be in this community. When we have head coaching positions open, we have highly qualified and successful people who apply for our jobs. And that's not the case everywhere. So we're really fortunate. And that goes for head coaches, but we're also fortunate for our sub-varsity coaches, and that's for all sports. We have JV and JV2 coaches who could be a varsity coach somewhere else. And we have varsity assistant coaches who have been head coaches, who have been successful, and they're choosing to be with us. So people here, we may not realize it, or we may take it for granted because we're here and we see it every day. We may forget what's out there, but I see it when opposing teams come in, and I see it almost every day. And I'm just thankful for who we have and the experience that they're creating for our student athletes.
Again, Kyle Hodsdon joining us, the athletic director over at Newburyport High School.